So growing up, my parents would accuse me of being too big for my britches, which what they were what they were really saying was I wanted to do too much too quickly. I wanted to grow up faster than my body or my mind could be capable of. Well, Rome went from a monarch to a republic and eventually an empire. The Roman Empire was growing, spreading Roman culture and taking over farther and farther lands. Eventually, the Roman Empire was spread out so far that it outgrew its capability to manage itself. Essentially, Rome had become too big for its britches. So how did this happen? Well, we need to start with Octavius, the first emperor. Rome moved from a republic to an empire with the help of Octavius. Octavius took the name Augustus Caesar and became the first emperor of Rome. He established a police force, fire department, new currency, and Roman roads, among other things. You see, Roman roads helped with the expansion of the empire. As the roads were built, more Romans traveled, trade grew to further lands. People and government traveled these roads in search of new lands to conquer and to take over. Now, while all of this was happening, the Roman Empire went through some unique, interesting, terrible emperors. Just a few of the emperors include Tiberius, who started well, but he began to believe rumors. Caligula, who was mad, married his three sisters, wanted to name his horse as a consul member. Then Claudius, who they say was actually very bright, but his wife poisoned him, so the jury's still out on that one. Then we come to Nero, the first teenage emperor. He started good, but he became obsessed. It was said that pleasure was his style, cruelty was his god, and when Rome burned, many people blamed him and he committed suicide. Then we come to the savage years where generals were just fighting over and over for control of Rome. Well, Vespasian, he won out. He built the economy back, brought back some soldier loyalty, and he built the Colosseum. And then we move on to Titus, who brought about the Colosseum's opening games, and then Domitian, who was a tyrant, and he was known for book burnings, plots, and executions. So Roman life continued to grow. Pleasurable activities increased. Roman life was exciting, at least for many. Art and poetry, festivals for nearly everything, plays and dramas. The Colosseums pitted humans against animals. But eventually the violence became so much more enjoyable that they took out the animals and pitted humans against humans. Now, chariot races were the NFL of the day. They loved their chariot races. Export and import flourished. And then we see the Roman expanse. Roman expansion grew to cover 2,600 miles from east to west, from Spain all the way to Syria, and then north and south for 2,000 miles, from Britain all the way down to Egypt. The Roman Empire had developed a saying called Roma Aeterna, which means eternal Rome. And with Roman culture mostly embraced throughout the lands, Rome has reached its precipice. With such an expansive territory, outside people groups wanted a piece of the pie. These people groups saw opportunities to exploit the large Roman territory. The Goths, see, they marched on Rome and defeated it. And then later on, Attila the Hun came in, marched on Rome. But luckily, the Pope stood in front of them and begged them to leave, so they left. Rome had faded from its former glory. Powers were divided throughout all of the empire. And then all of a sudden, power shifted to the east. Emperor Constantine developed a city to rival Rome. He called Constantinople. This marked the end. A divided empire of sorts. Rome could not defend its long borders. Constantinople was smaller, more centralized, easier to protect and control. Some place blame on Christianity for the fall of Rome. Well, most likely it was the vast land grab, the long borders, and the large territories that became Rome's downfall. So when we started out, we asked the question, had Rome become too big for its britches? What caused the fall of the Roman Empire? This vast land grab, is it going beyond your control too quickly? Is it like a lottery winner who wins the lottery but doesn't know how to handle money and spends it all, gives it all away, loses friends, and becomes broke on the streets? Is it a professional athlete who, as soon as they retire, they've squandered everything? Is it really that simple that they just outgrew what they could control? I think it is. I really think they have gotten too big for their britches and it came back to haunt them. but that we will truly understand and learn and develop a modern consciousness of history and how that affects us now. So my challenge to you is don't be too big for your britches. See you next time.